Good morning, everybody. Recently, I completed a challenge, 25 push-ups for 25 days, recorded, put on Facebook in order to bring awareness to PTSD and anxiety and depression and other challenges. And apart from just making me look absolutely buff, the other thing it did, and much to my surprise, it taught me an awful lot of new ways for me to empathize with people who are suffering from PTSD and anxiety disorders and depression and chronic stress. My name is Ed Trevors. I'm an Anglican priest in the Diocese of Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. I get to serve in the beautiful town of Shelburne, Nova Scotia, in the awesome parish of Church Shelburne that sits on the ancestral and the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. So as I said, I did 25 push-ups for 25 days, and the first thing I learned was that I could stop anytime I wanted. I didn't have to do it every day. I could stop at any point. If I got tired after day 3, I didn't have to do any more. If I got tired after doing 13 or 14 push-ups, I could just do the rest of them from my knees, or not do the rest of them at all, or not participate whatsoever. What I think I learned, is that people who are suffering from an anxiety disorder or chronic stress or PTSD, they're not given an off switch. They don't have a choice. They don't get to wake up today and say, today, you know what? I'm not going to do the PTSD thing. Despite the fact that some days I did not feel like doing them, as I just mentioned, the other thing that I realized was that I didn't have to do them first thing in the morning. I could do them at any point during the day. If I woke up and didn't feel like doing them right away, then I'd have a coffee first and then do my push-ups. Or maybe I didn't feel like doing them then, I'd wait till after lunch and then I'd do my push-ups. It was just a matter that I had to commit to doing 25 push-ups a day. Didn't say what time of day. I didn't have to have them in by a particular time. And even if there was, nobody was going to police it. People that are suffering from PTSD, again, people that are suffering from PTSD, just like they don't get to opt out of it today, don't get to choose at what time of day they're going to be impacted by them. They don't have the option to say, you know what, I got a meeting today from 9 to 10, so PTSD is just going to have to wait until 11:30, or you know what, we'll wait till after supper. Doing push-ups, even just 25 of them, even 25 a day, is a form of progressive overload training. The more you do them, the stronger your muscles get, the more endurance you build up, and ultimately, in kind of a cool way, the bigger your muscles get as well. Now, as you go on, you'd have to move, once you can do 25 push-ups real easy, you'd have to add more, and that's all fine. That's where the progressive comes in. As you progress, you get better. As you get better doing them, as you become stronger, you feel better about it. The more push-ups you do, ultimately, the better you feel about yourself. People who suffer from an anxiety disorder like PTSD generally don't feel better about themselves after each encounter. They don't feel better about themselves after they've gone through a long stretch where they've faced this anxiety on a regular basis over and over again. It's not a form of progressive overload. Their self-esteem generally does not go up when PTSD rears its ugly head, and more often than not, feelings of guilt and feelings of shame go hand in hand with those moments where the anxiety has grown to the point that they weren't able to cope in a particular environment in a way that they would have preferred. One day, I got stung by a wasp before I did my push-ups, and so I did my push-ups with this big, gross, swollen foot. And because I couldn't do my push-ups normally with 2 feet on the ground, sort of pivoting, hinging on my toes, pivoting on my toes, I put the gross swollen foot behind and on top of the one good foot and did my push-ups that way. It was, it was a fairly minor adjustment to make sure that I still did the push-ups. Again, somebody who is going through PTSD, somebody who is going through an anxiety disorder, whereas I felt like I had to make an adjustment for a couple of days in order to do these push-ups with as little discomfort and pain as possible. Someone who is suffering from an anxiety disorder like PTSD, they can feel like they are continuously, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, regardless of who they are spending their time with or what situation they find themselves in. They can feel like they are continuously adjusting in order to push through the moment they are facing. Day in, day out, as I did these push-ups, I also recorded them and uploaded them to Facebook. And almost every single one of them, except for a couple where I made an observation or two, every single one of those videos were between 55 and 1:10 seconds. I spent no more than, generally speaking, I spent no more than a minute doing these push-ups every single day. Somebody who is dealing with PTSD, somebody who is living with an anxiety disorder, they don't get to say it's going to flare up for a minute. They don't get to say they're going to have to deal with it for a minute. They don't get to say they're going to have to deal with it. They don't get to say that they're going to have to work through it for a minute. It's with them every minute of the day. That brings up another point. For that 1 minute I worked, and I worked pretty hard. 25 push-ups at one time. It's don't get me wrong, it's not exactly like going to the gym for an hour, but I could push through. I knew that this was only going to take a minute. Just push for a minute. Just push for a minute. It's about a minute. It's about a minute. It's about a minute. 10 more, 5 more, 3 more, 1 more. Done. Some days are better than others for a person with an anxiety disorder. Some days are better than others. But generally speaking, the work takes far greater than 1 minute every single day. I did this because a buddy of mine asked me to do it. A buddy of mine nominated me and asked me to participate. I did this because I think it is important to bring awareness to this kind of thing. I did this knowing full well that my effort could easily be seen as relatively insignificant, trite even. Our understanding of, our ability to empathize with people who have an anxiety disorder, people who have PTSD, needs to go further than us simply doing push-ups. It needs to go further than us posting a meme on Facebook saying, I'm an ally for mental illness. I'm an ally for emotional distress. If we say that we are an ally to people who suffer from an emotional or mental disorder, challenge, we need to allow ourselves to be with them no matter in what state they find themselves in. Because depression, anxiety, PTSD, it doesn't just appear as somebody who can't get out of bed in the morning. It doesn't just appear as somebody who doesn't want to have company. Sometimes it has really aggressive characteristics. Sometimes it can appear violent. Sometimes it can appear frightening. Sometimes it doesn't appear at all. But no matter what state a person finds themselves, you and I need to allow ourselves to connect and empathize with those people. That's when we'll truly show just how much we care. That's when we will truly show exactly what type of ally we are. I guarantee you know somebody, you have somebody in your life who may fit within these characteristics, who may fit with, whose life may be challenged by some of these things. Be there for them. Watch over them. Pick up the phone, give them a call. Show them that they mean something to you. Because that may be so much more important than you and I could ever possibly understand. May God bless you. May God keep you. May God make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you. And may the Lord forever grant you the peace of being in his presence. Amen.